You do know that, like, now that you're aware of this, there's a point where you two now have to confront them, right? And it's great that you've healed, that they don't trigger you anymore, as
Yeah.
it were. But now it's time for you to be a giant as well.
Yeah. I want you to listen to your thingy.
To myself.
Yeah. Because there's one particular person that is in your life that I'm just like, I don't know why that person is in your
I
life.
know, so it's time.
What are you doing?
So let me tell you guys a story, right?
Okay.
The Sapiosexual Platter.
Some of us aren't healing. We're just getting better at avoiding. Better distractions, better language, but it's the same patterns, it's the same triggers. So today we're asking the real question: are you healing? Or have you just become a professional at looking like you're healing? My name is Shatani Samalakai.
And I am Belsa Abo Ame,
Welcome to
the Sapiosexual Platter. Yo, I literally read something that just went phew in me.
Yeah.
It says growth becomes a disguise when it improves your image, but not your patterns.
Yo. Let's talk about it.
Read us to filth. Read us to filth. I absolutely love this statement simply because a lot of the times when people want growth or want to heal, it's more about the image. Like, how soon can I project the image of success to people? How
Yeah.
soon can I tell people that
I've made it.
I've made it? How
Yeah.
soon can I appear holier than thou to the people? I don't think they do it with that intention, but they do it with that action. And I've been guilty of it, like, and then you just realize that you're working on the optics.
Yeah.
But
Internally,
sure.
yeah.
Not even internally. Like,
But
internally, you can't
realistically-
even think.
Realistically, truthfully, yeah.
Because you can think like, wow, I'm making strides. Wow, I am growing.
Yeah.
And that time, you're more just reconfiguring the illusion.
Yo, that's deep. That's a bundle.
30 GB.
I know too much, man. Reconfiguring the illusion? That's crazy.
So deep.
Yeah. A lot of us are in it though. Yeah.
We are in it. And I remember the time that you and I had a phone call conversation. And we're just talking about in that season, in that period, what do we want and what are we working on? And I remember just saying, I just want truthful alignment.
Yeah.
Not alignment you show off or you display for others, but like when I sit with myself, lights, cameras off, and I'm like, do I really have clarity and alignment within myself?
Yeah.
Than always feeling the constant pressure to reach somewhat of a baseline alignment in order to go out and showcase it to the world or tell it to the world.
For me, this topic is more, it hits in the form of patterns, because I think that's where I often recognize that I haven't healed, in going back to certain patterns, going back to certain people, where I'm like, why am I here again? Why am I still having this conversation, this interaction? Then realizing like, oh wow, I haven't healed because this interaction is still attractive to me. It's still, it's still present. So even if I try to say I'm over it, I've healed it, I'm like, yeah, babe, you still keep going back. So what can we say about that? You know? And so, yeah, read us to filth. Won't ya? Read us to filth. Why did you think this was an important discussion to have?
Where the world is at, we have gotten so acclimatized to spiritual language, psychological language,
Therapy language.
Yeah. So it's almost as if there's been a mass consciousness of humanity, but the illusion got like double. And yesterday I was hanging out with some friends of mine as I was preparing for the episode. And I was just on my iPad typing, and they're having their own like tiff. So they include me inside as a middleman. And one is complaining that the other one hasn't come to the house, and they're close friends and they haven't come. You haven't come to my place. You haven't come to see my place. Da, da, da. And it's been quite a while. So I'm like, wow, that's really bad. And now, because this other friend who hasn't gone to the other friend's house is very intelligent, very wise, has the language. You then see somebody using the language of growth to gaslight the other person.
Think about it.
And I was like, wow, like we've gotten to that place as the world where we have justification for so many different things.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be like, oh, this is the way that I am because I grew up like this and that, and I went through years of this and I overcame this. And then one day I decided I'm going to design myself. Then I chose this is how I am. So therefore, this is how I am. So in as much as there's been mass consciousness, there's been this heightened level of illusion and heightened level of mass selfishness, mass justification for the way that everybody is in the world. So it's like it creates a separation because everybody feels justified to be the way that they are because they can come up with a reason that is well logical, well rationalized, and backed up with evidence of science and therapy and all the like. So I was like, wow, it'll be a good conversation to have because where we're headed as the world, it's like, let's tread lightly or softly before we put ourselves into another cage or chain of sorts that will be like a 2.0 shadow.
Yeah.
You know, when we had the shadow conversation, like 2.0, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we live in a world where the narcissist will tell you that they're a narcissist.
Exactly.
You know? And it's like, are you okay? You do realize. I mean, it shouldn't be shocking that a narcissist is saying that he's a narcissist, but it's so narcissistic. Yeah. But it's like the idea of a self-awareness so that you can begin to transform those components about yourself. It's not so that you can maintain them and use them as you say, a tool to justify your inability to show up and be who you're meant to be in particular dynamics. And so, yeah, it is interesting what wokeness and consciousness, in quotation marks, you know, has done. It's very, very fascinating. And also how, to our point, which is the topic, you know, healing versus avoidance, for some, then people end up never really confronting, you know, never really end up facing up to their giants, their Goliath in their lives. You know, you're just like, no, I can see that he's a giant. You know, I can see it. You know, they are a bully, you know, and I know this about their lives and I know that they went through this situation and this is why they beat me and this is why they do this and this is why they do that. So it's almost like you project like this messiahness about yourself, you know, like I understand why and so I'm okay, And it's like, you do know that like now that you're aware of this, there's a point where you too now have to confront them, right? And it's great that you've healed, that they don't trigger you anymore, as it were. But now it's time for you to be a giant as well.
Yeah. I want you to listen to your thingy.
To myself.
Yeah. Because there's one particular person that is in your life that I'm just like, I don't know why that person is in your life.
I know, so it's time.
What are you doing?
So let me tell you guys a story, right? Everybody knows the story of Moses.
Yeah.
Moses.
But what is this?
It'll come into
Okay.
context.
All right.
Everybody knows the story of Moses. And when God said, you need to go back to Egypt, it's time to free the people from Egyptian slavery. And then he went to Pharaoh and he said, let my people go. And then Pharaoh said, right. Well, that's what Pharaoh did. And so the Egyptians were inflicted with 10 plagues. The first plague was snakes. Pharaoh had magicians, and the magicians basically threw their sticks on the floor, and their sticks became snakes, right? And a very interesting thing happened. Moses also dropped his stick, a rod. I think it was Aaron's rod, actually. I don't know if Aaron was the one who carried the rod. Anyway, one of the two had a rod. And
Moses dropped his stick.
was it Moses or Aaron?
It was Moses, and then it ate the other snakes.
Yes. So Moses or Aaron's rod
Yeah.
was dropped on the floor. Or was it Aaron who dropped Moses? Anyway, I'll get the right one.
Yeah.
And the snake became a bigger snake than all the other snakes and started to eat all the other snakes, right? I remember listening to a sermon once where the pastor gave a very powerful example, and he said, sometimes the only way to defeat the enemy is to become exactly like the enemy and bigger. And that is how you're able to then. Therefore,
Yeah.
healing versus avoidance is just recognizing that just like the Egyptians and the Israelites, is true healing means you've crossed the Red Sea. And to cross the Red Sea, you have to go through moments where you're demonstrating to the Egyptian that you are bigger than. And it's very uncomfortable. And
By mirroring their behavior.
by mirroring their behavior from, oh, you got snakes, you got a bigger snake, you know. When Moses was born, he was born during a time when Pharaoh had declared that all the firstborn sons of Israel must die. The last plague was all the Egyptian sons dying. Why am I this? I feel like I'm in a zeitgeist. Actually feel like I'm in a deep zeitgeist. But those who are listening can hear that oftentimes the people that have caused hurt upon your life have used certain mechanisms. And if in the Bible, true liberation was achieved by mirroring the behavior of the oppressor, then my theory is that perhaps to achieve liberation in your life is that you must go through a season where you allow yourself to be exactly like in order to ascend, to cross the Red Sea, and in order to truly defeat. Yeah.
So in essence, become the narcissist.
Yeah.
But isn't that what we're saying? That's
That
the
people-
issue with the world right now.
That is what I'm saying,
Shitani.
because I get it's healing versus avoidance. So how it's appreciating why people avoid. People avoid because inevitably for you to actually address this issue, you have to become like it. And there is a thing about
That's an element of why they avoid.
that's
Not
what
all
I'm
the
not
time.
all the time,
Yeah.
but it's why are you not avoiding the situation? Because it means that if they're shouting at me, I have to shout louder. That's not my personality. That's not who I am. Like I'm a Toby Gobo. I'm shy. I'm this. I'm that. It's like, yeah, well, good luck with that, because you're gonna go round and round in circles until at some point you're gonna have to become the biggest snake. Just yeah, it's just an element of this conversation.
Those are deep zeitgeist. You heard it here, guys. Become the biggest snake.
Because what are people healing from, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not like you're healing from what are you healing from? You're healing from the fact that somebody has hurt you. Who has hurt you? What did they do? And how do you fully heal? Is it just forgiveness? We've talked about forgiveness before, many of the episodes. And then there comes a point where now this person is still in the same pattern. You say you've forgiven, you're still sad, right? You haven't reconfigured. Your life hasn't changed. So for me, it's a sign that surely then you haven't healed. Because forgiveness is also supposed to bring about transformation. Peace, yes. But then after that, your life is supposed to move in a direction that I'm no longer stuck in this place, right? And if you're still around the people, still around the situation, it just means that certain confrontations haven't taken place. And I'm just saying that sometimes it's because you're not willing to have the uncomfortable conversation. You're not willing to have the confrontation. You're not willing to move out of that place. Because that's what healing is, I guess.
Yeah.
You're healing from something.
Yeah.
From something, most times, that somebody has done to you. And obviously, this is in the context of like personal relationships, but you can take it even to professional relationships. Sometimes I tell my clients, okay, it's time. You know what I mean?
It's time for what?
Well, they started a war, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's time to go to war. That's the only way we move out of this. You know, what this podcast is about, which is liberating Africans.
So what are you saying? We should go colonize them?
Well, what is the thing that you said the other day about something no they carry last or whatever?
Nigeria no they carry last.
It's time. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. And you just, it is what it is. There's this guy on Insta. His whole thing is he goes around doing to like white people the things that they do to black people.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, right? So he'll just be like, "Oh my God, I love your hair. Is it yours?
Yeah.
Is it your hair?" You can always see the expression on their faces, like, "Why would you ask that?" And it's like, yeah, but why do you ask me if this is my hair? Or like,
He'll be like, carry this bag, hold this bag for me.
or he'll just skip the line.
Yeah.
Or he'll go in first class and then he start asking, how can you afford this? Like, and they're like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, are you a rap star? Are you in sports?" And you just see, like, for me, like, initially I used to watch it and be like, this is crazy. But over time, I'm like, wow, he's really trying to raise consciousness to say, like, you guys do a lot of things that you don't recognize, like the implication or like what you're trying, like what impact
they end up communicating.
and what they're communicating, until it's actually communicated back to them and you see the shock on their face. And it's like, oh, so you don't even realize how crazy that is, or you realize how crazy that is, but yet you still do it. You still go around asking people like, "Oh, how can you afford this?" What do you mean?
Yeah.
Why can't, like, why wouldn't I be able to afford it, right? So yeah, in fact, let's go around asking them, how do you afford that? You know, how do you do this? And how do you do that, you know?
Yes.
The thing we're
Become the
always talking
biggest
about. Yeah. Oh, you're busy closing borders, deporting people. Inside. Because that's how you achieve true liberation. It's not even personal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because what you're going to be healing would be what your soul has to resolve in this lifetime. So it's like, in order for it to be fully resolved, you have to approach healing in the multi-layeredness of it all, to forgive within yourself, definitely, but then also to break the pattern.
Yeah.
And sometimes breaking the pattern means becoming the bigger snake.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hear you.
Just so that they can see, because sometimes the reason they treat you like that is because they see a stick. Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
People treat you at what you project. So you also have to take accountability that you have projected weakness is why you have been the victim of weakness. And so therefore, in order for them to then start treating you as the giant that you actually are,
Just become the bigger giant.
yeah, I remember getting like shivers when I heard that sermon. I was like, woo. But now the more I think about it, it's so common sense to me that like if somebody does A, like I've just learned the art of, okay, let's go. And we'll see who'll win.
But you judged that of me, though.
I love it.
You and now, you be
I
like,
love
you're so vengeful, you're so vindictive.
Yes, you must
Yeah.
be. Like, you must be. And that's the thing is, when I came to that realization, I would say that about you because I'm like, yeah, actually, she's right. You know, like some of these people and some of these things, that's the only way to address them. Like, honestly,
Give someone a taste of that medicine and see how they handle the
how
medicine.
they handle the medicine. And oftentimes, that's the end.
Yeah.
Like, for most people that I've seen, the minute you go one and then you go khad, you don't even need to do anything extreme. Just go a little above their level. It's done.
What do you think about healing and growth? Do you feel like healing is synonymous to growth or growth is synonymous to healing?
What do I think about healing and growth?
Can someone heal and not grow? Or does it mean that when somebody is healing, it is growth? Because obviously there's a reason, there's an end game to healing. You have
A Kabbalistic answer for that.
Okay.
Yeah. That apparently the universe does it different for different people. There's somebody who will be born into wealth in order to achieve their soul's correction.
Yes.
So you need to be born into a wealthy family in order for you to experience all the dark that wealthy people do in order for the healing to occur in your soul. And then another person will need to be born poor and go through the darkness of what it means to attain wealth in order to reach their soul's correction. So basically it's both. Is that for some people, healing naturally results in growth. And then for some people, need to be placed in a place of like deep discomfort, which results in growth, which results in their healing. And I feel like we're all going through that, both at different different parts of our lives.
Yeah.
In a relationship, you're probably grown, and then something's gonna happen that leads to healing through that relationship. Then in another sector, because you are healed, then you are experiencing elevation, growth. Yeah. What do you think?
What came to my mind when you were talking was how sometimes people amass all this success and money and fame, all in the end to then realize that this person is deeply wounded or broken. When you had no money and then you learn how to make money, you move your account from a few hundreds to a few millions. That is a reflection of growth.
Yeah.
I don't know if it necessarily is a reflection of a wound healed.
I see what you're, yeah.
Because I believe that people can grow without healing.
Okay.
Because growth is a reflection of a movement and an evolvement of sorts. So I believe that people can evolve without ever addressing their wounds. So you can move from being a thousandaire to a millionaire.
Yeah.
You can get married, have the children,
Yeah.
but still have the wounds and the trauma living in your system and undetoxed. Then one day you wake up, you're like, sort of like Jada Pinkett Smith. I live in this house. We are big time celebrities. We've got all this money. I've got these children, but I am just so sad. And none of all this growth that I've gotten over the years has addressed parts of me that steal joy from me. So I'm unable to enjoy all these things that surround me because fundamentally I've grown, but I haven't healed. It's even just in relation to us as human beings. When you're a child, you get an infliction of trauma. You evolve into adult life only to realize that that time when you were 7 and you experienced that trauma, your psychology is still stuck there.
Yeah.
So notwithstanding that your body has grown, your psychology or your mind has grown to grasp more concepts that life has to offer. The fact of the matter is the psychology being stuck at that point of trauma is a demonstration of growth with a wound within your psyche. Yeah.
Valid. True. It's layered, it's complex. Because for me, it's like different categories, right? So for me, it's the ability to attract a partner and have children. It's one category. The ability to attract wealth, it's another category. I think they're just all categories. So one can really have locked it down in this area and not have in another. So it doesn't mean you aren't growing. That's how I feel like we all have different imbalance. I don't know if it's balance, imbalance. I don't know. All of us, like if we were to do like a microscope or I don't know, some kind of like X-ray to like check points of growth, you'd realize somebody is 30 and healed, like psychologically, mentally, they're just in a great health, like mental health state, but they still need to grow insofar as abundance is concerned, insofar as attracting certain things is concerned. And then another person equally, they've tapped into and understand wealth and it's grown. But then insofar as psychological development, zero, That's what I'm saying.
I think we're saying the same
thing. We're saying the same thing. And it's like, also, but if you think about like the mystery of life and the mystery of the world is that trauma was necessary for you to grow in another area. And the absence of the abundance was necessary for you to grow in another area. So maybe in the end, we're all just technically balanced. I don't know. But I hear you.
Because I don't think growth...
Because maybe we need to what is the word? Define
healing
growth.
Requires a wound. Growth doesn't require a wound. Growth is just evolution.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, so a child can grow and grow. But if a child is growing and they get a wound, the wound can heal. So what we tend to do, and why I'm bringing this up, is that we tend to mask growth as healing. Whereas you can get the abundance. You can unlock all these things. But where we're at as humanity is we use it as a disguise for healing.
I 100%
but
comprehend.
Haven't healed. Yes.
I 100% comprehend that. Yeah, because I think that's what we do with the system. 16 symbolizes something in most jurisdictions. 18, 21, the ages where you can drink, the ages where you can get married. It's like physical growth where the law then imposes certain responsibilities with the assumption that because you have gone to this age, you can therefore handle this, that, and the other. Whereas, as you say, realistically, you're 18, you're 21. Can you really make wise decisions? Are you really capable? Should we be allowing you to, get married? And so I agree. You've actually persuaded me in real time.
Yeah.
On live television.
But I don't know if your breakdown of it, I don't understand it fully. I was like, I don't know.
No, because you were saying is growth synonymous to healing. And I'm saying, and you've, for me, the way I understand it is like, it can't necessarily be, if we think about it logically. Like as a human being, you are going to move from 0 to 1 to 2 to 21.
Yes.
So people will make the assumption around your capacity and what it is you can handle. But it's like, she's grown, but has she healed from what happened to them, her, him, when they were younger? Are they fully capable? Do they have the capacity? It's even the thing about titles that we've often talked about. Like, oh, he's the CEO, so therefore this, that, and the other. And it's like, no, you've grown career-wise, trajectory, you've been conferred with these titles. It doesn't automatically equate to this. Healing. So I agree with you, actually. I concede, not that we were arguing.
Yeah.
But possibly healing is not necessarily synonymous to growth and vice versa.
Yeah. I brought that up because I just felt like, as I said before, people use it as a disguise. So because we're in this world where we have the terminology, you can then project good habits as a disguise to healing, but not having really healed. And another big one is like productivity as a coping mechanism. It's like because somebody is productive and they are outputting this
Making
amount,
money.
yes, you're like, oh my God,
They got it.
they've got
They're
it,
good.
they've healed,
Yeah.
they're it. And that time it's like, no, I am overworking, I am overcreating.
I'm avoiding. It's the
Thank
the
you.
alcoholism as well.
Yes. I'm avoiding having to confront this. So therefore, I am going to create the variables that are necessary to elevate the illusion of my life to reflect integrity and being complete without actually doing the internal work of healing. So it's like I'm going to project growth in order to make people perceive I am healed.
Yeah. Yeah, guys.
I think we would leave it there.
Yeah.
Because we're opening a portal and I don't know where it's leading
Yeah,
us to.
like that's why we need to stop because
we're opening a portal here, and what I want you as the audience to walk away with, and I'm also speaking to myself, is to really take inventory, to realize where you are actually making strides to heal and not to avoid. And there's strategic avoidance in projecting growth or chasing growth in order to appear healed to yourself and to others. So let us create systems in our lives. Let us take inventory of our internal worlds to really make sure that we create alignment that allows us to really fully live fulfilled and enjoyable lives and not use productivity or growth metrics to elude
Conceal.
us and everyone around us that we have healed. My name is Belsa Abo Ame,
I am Shatani Samalakai.
and you've been watching the Sapiosexual Platter.